In my last introductory video on how plant tissue culture works, I have mentioned how a whole plant can be generated from just a single plant cell. In today's video, I will tell you 11 unique and most wonderful applications of plant tissue culture technique. Some of you might already know about few of these applications like multiplying plants, but I am sure by the end of this video, you will get to know about several more interesting applications. So without any delay, let's begin. First, the most popular one, the rapid micropropagation of plants. Normally, plants are propagated or multiplied through their seeds, runners, buds, or cuttings. For some plants, it may be appropriate and economic way, but for some other plants, it is difficult to obtain seeds or do not produce seeds or their germination rate is very poor. For example, banana and orchids. Or there are plants that produces seeds after several years or decades, for example, bamboos. Also, vegetative propagation through rhizome or cutting depends upon their availability and is not that much rapid. With tissue culture, you can take a small tissue from the plant and can multiply it into hundreds, thousands, or even millions of the plants. This is termed as micropropagation as you are propagating it using small tissues and cells. Most commonly, birds or the nodal explant or meristem tissues are used for micropropagation of commercially important plants. With suspension culture, which is a variant of tissue culture, even larger number of plants can be produced rapidly. Obtaining disease-free plants. Under natural conditions, some plants may be severely infected by microbes and pathogens. Usually, meristem cells that divide rapidly are virus-free and can be utilized to develop virus or pathogen-free plants using tissue culture techniques. Orchids, carnation, strawberry are some of the species that are successfully utilized for producing virus-free plants with tissue culture. Conservation of endangered plants. Picrorhiza and Trillium are some of the highly valued medicinal plants that are endangered, maybe due to habitat destruction, overexploitation, or due to their low reproduction rate. Endangered or threatened species that are in danger of extinction can be maintained, mass propagated, and even preserved for several years with tissue culture and cryopreservation techniques. Mass production of rare and expensive metabolites. Secondary metabolites are useful bioactive compounds that find their applications in drugs, fragrance, flavor, dietary supplements, and others. Thus, their demand and commercial market is huge. But most of these metabolites are produced in low quantities. With techniques like cell suspension culture in large bioreactors, production of these metabolites can be scaled up. For example, Catharanthus roseus produces indole alkaloids and catharanthine that has application in cancer therapy. Ginsenoside from Ginkgo biloba have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-tumor activity. The production of these compounds can be scaled up to reduce the cost of drug development. Year-round growth and supply of plants. Naturally and usually plants multiply and reproduce in a particular season. They show growth when season is favorable. At other times, they may be under dormancy or do not bear fruit and flower. This limits the propagation of plants. As tissue culture is performed under controlled lab conditions where you can regulate light duration, temperature, and humidity, you can propagate plants throughout the year irrespective of season. For example, fruits like apples can be rapidly propagated to produce plantlets for plantation in favorable seasons. Tissue culture speeds up breeding and genetic mapping. For genetic mapping studies, sometimes homozygous lines having same genome copies are desirable. Doubled haploids can be generated using gamete culture or anther culture followed by chromosome doubling. Also, under controlled conditions, you can get multiple generation of plants within an year. This speeds up molecular breeding and genetic mapping studies. Generating somatic hybrids. Plants that cannot breed or cross naturally can be made to cross and generate hybrids with the help of protoplast fusion using tissue culture. In this way, you can create plants with new genomes or genetic makeup and desirable characters. The next wonderful application is embryo rescue. Embryo of the seed give rise to whole plant naturally, but some embryo, for example those from few hybrids, are normally not viable to produce new plant. The same can be rescued with the help of tissue culture, for example rescuing embryos of hybrid seedless grapes and papaya. Another important application of tissue culture is obtaining identical plants for quality maintenance. There are instances when you want to maintain the yield, aroma, taste, or other characteristic of plants such as vegetables or flower or herb. And if the plant is naturally cross-compatible, it may undergo genetic recombination, combining genomes of both the parents, which changes the genome of offspring. And the next generation plant will most often not show identical characteristics. It may lead to economic losses to the growers. With tissue culture, you can maintain the exact genetic composition and hence the same characteristics of the plants for generations. Maintaining the quality is very important when it comes to commercially valuable varieties. Some varieties are so much expensive that many of us may not afford to buy. If you do not believe me, go and search about Ruby Roman grapes or Shikaichi apple. They are highly expensive and known for their quality. Generating mutants and somaclonal variation. Tissue culture can not only be used to produce identical plants, but also using various types of culture techniques such as Calyx culture, you can generate mutations and variability in the plants. During tissue culturing, chromosomal rearrangements and losses, mitotic recombination events, transposable element activation, apparent point mutations may lead to profound changes in the crop characters such as flower pigmentation, essential oils in rose-scented geranium, fruit like thornless loganberry, and disease resistance in wheat. Such genetic variations can be identified using molecular or DNA markers like RAPD, ISSA, and others. You can check out my videos on various kinds of markers and how they work in the description below. Last in my list and one of the most exciting wonders that can be done with tissue culture is developing genetically modified crops. It is a great desire of scientists to have high-yielding plant varieties with better nutritional characteristics, resistance to pests, pathogens, and tolerance to changing environment. For this, breeding is the classic and most accepted approach. You can learn more about breeding in my another video. But breeding has its own limitations. Like you cannot breed two incompatible plants. Also, you cannot breed a bacterium and a plant to produce a better variety. With genetic engineering, you can transfer DNA or genes from one organism to another, or you can incorporate new genes, overexpress or silence or knock out the gene completely to obtain a better variety with desirable trait. This is what genetic modification or genetic engineering is. Some of the most popular examples of improved plants using genetic engineering are vitamin A producing golden rice. Normally rice cannot produce vitamin A, but with genetic engineering, gene from a bacteria was incorporated in rice to make it produce vitamin A. Another example is Bt cotton that is resistant to several pests produced by incorporating an insecticidal protein in cotton obtained from a bacteria. And there are many such examples and applications of tissue culture which cannot be covered in a single video. In my next video, I will be explaining about explant types and sterilization methods in the tissue culture. I will be regularly uploading a series of videos on plant tissue culture. You can subscribe and stay in touch for more such content. You were watching Explore Bio. Do not forget to mention in the comment which application you found most interesting. And if you have an important application to share, I would love to know it from you. Check out my playlist on research and publishing, techniques, markers, vaccines, genomics, and others. Bye bye and see you in my next video.